Hi and a very warm welcome back to the Bellyboots kitchen. Today we're going to be cooking Yorkshire puddings, and who better to learn off than a Yorkshireman. So there's lots of stories and myths to go along with Yorkshire puddings. The good news is they're simpler than you think. It doesn't need a raising agent. Raising agents are not what's going to lift the Yorkshire pudding up. What lifts it is the steam from the water inside the milk and inside the eggs. Don't need any baking powder, no baking soda, no self-raising flour, just plain flour. That's all you need. Now stay tuned to the end and I'll show you a trick for doing two different types of Yorkshire puddings. Either the cup ones where you can put things in, like fill them up with gravy or some stuffing or maybe a pig in blanket, or you just want them to balloon up. I'll show you the difference and how to achieve both. So I'm going to be using a muffin tin for my Yorkshire puddings. It's quite a lot deeper than a normal Yorkshire pudding tin. It's just a little bit safer. You don't have to fill it up to the top to get decent sized Yorkshire puddings out. It means there's less chance of the oil overflowing. Okay, so let's start with making our batter. So we're tipping all the flour in, both eggs, no need to whisk them first, they're fine, and all of the milk and a pinch of salt. And then we just mix that in slowly to start with. Now I hope we make some good Yorkshire puddings today, because hopefully it will divert attention from the fact I have flamingos on my shirt. So it's the national bird of Yorkshire, the flamingo. So that's it. That now rests till tomorrow. If you can't wait a day and you've forgotten that you need the Yorkshire puddings, really don't worry about it, but they will taste a lot nicer. A lot of things will happen to this batter overnight which would make them taste great. So we'll cover that with cling film and we'll pop it into the fridge. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so you caught me, it's not the day after. Here's some I made earlier, fresh from the fridge. I've still got the same shirt on. I've got a little trick for you. If you just want a bunch of Yorkshire puddings, not a precise amount, and you've got a tin like this that holds 12, then try leaving one empty, because with hot oil and pouring batter in and the oil comes up, sometimes it's a bit dangerous to try and grab the sides. If you leave one empty, you've got somewhere to put your thumb and get a good grasp on it. So we'll put some oil into the tins. About a shot of oil in each, about 25 ml. If you need to measure out some milk, I know I had 200 mils of milk here. 200 mils of milk weighs exactly 200 grams. So if you don't have a measuring jug but you have some scales, then that's a different way of measuring it. Save some time. It's getting exciting now. We're nearer Yorkshire pudding time. I've got oil in the pans. I'm going to put them in the preheated oven at 200 degrees. 200 degrees is fine for Yorkshire puddings. There are some theories that the oven needs to be the temperature of the surface of the sun. It really doesn't. 200 degrees, absolutely fine. I've never had a problem with them. Okay, so that's the oil heated up in the pan. It's been in there about 10-15 minutes. You only get one crack at this, so you want to have it nice and hot. So then it's just a case of pouring the batter into the pan. You don't have to have it overflowing. If you want symmetrical Yorkshire puddings, I pour it straight in the middle of the tin. I'm going to do 4 of these. Doing so many Yorkshire puddings one man can eat, so they say. Okay, so here we go. Yorkshire puddings fresh from the oven. Very hot. Nice and fluffy. If you like them crispier, just leave them in longer. Good thing about Yorkshire puddings, you can cook these ahead of time, maybe a couple of hours before you put your roast meat in. As you take the roast meat out, just put them back in the oven, warm them up for a few minutes. They'll be just as lovely as freshly baked. Okay, so I did tell you at the start of the video I was going to show you a tip as to how to get cup Yorkshire puddings. If you like the sort of Yorkshire puddings, you can put things in. So basically, to the original mix, you add another 2 dessert spoons of plain flour. That goes into the mix. Everything else is exactly the same. You'll notice I'm using a slightly different tin to get bigger cups. That's still got oil in, it's in the oven heating up. This just makes the mixture a bit thicker. The idea is that the batter takes a little bit longer to rise. It rises from the sides as opposed to all over. So let's get this in the oven and see how it goes. Okay, so there we have it, Yorkshire puddings that look a little bit more like a cup. And there we have it, Yorkshire puddings by a Yorkshireman. Does it get any more authentic than that? Subscribe to my channel now so you don't miss out on new dishes and keep up to date. I am so excited for you to see my channel. Is this thing on? Is it working? Hello, is anyone there?